Agata. Um, it's interesting the influence of Japan to the region, um, because as Betty presented, East Timor, it was a colony for Japan too, in 20th century, and it was also a colony, or it was occupied by the Japanese also in the same time, to South Korea. And I saw a documentary that said that North Korea is receiving $25 billion annually from Japan. So why it is so controversial that South Korea received the money from Japan? You said 28?
800 million.
Oh, $800 million, in Park area?
In, yeah, the Yushin.
Yeah, but why steel is a controversy? It's a different Japan now.
Right. So let me just sort of go off on a tangent. So you have the Axis power. They were actually interested in controlling most of Africa and Western Europe. And then you have Japan, who was virtually left alone to conquer these other nations, especially in East Asia and Southeast Asia. So it wasn't just Korea, like you said, Betty. It was Timor as well. It was Indonesia. It was all these other Indochina countries, as well as China itself. We have the Sino-Japanese War, which is very famous. The reason why it was so controversial is because at this point in time, this is my biased opinion, excuse me, but one of the reasons why I feel like Japan right now is giving money, donating money to North Korea, is so that they curb North Korea from testing weapons. Because every couple of years or so, you have North Korea, they're actually sending out projectile missiles into the East Sea, which is the sea that is in between Korea and Japan. So for Japan, as a booming economy, it's an issue for them if they were to ever be targeted by North Korea. So this is sort of like a consolation gift. And so the reason why it's really controversial for South Korea to this day is because South Korea to this day, I think, still harbors much of a anti-Japanese sentiment. It's because Korea's culture was suppressed. We were oppressed by the Japanese as well. And because of it, we had the Korean War. We had the communists come into Korea, and this was actually the reason why we had the Korean War. It was because there had to be some way to drive the Japanese out of Korea to achieve autonomy, but we didn't have the means or the ability to. And so for Korea to actually receive this money, it is a statement, because once Park signed this agreement, this reparations agreement, Korea also recognized that they were never going to ask Japan for reparations ever again. So in this current time, you have comfort women, especially in Korea. Comfort women are the women of the era that were used as sex workers. So they were oppressed by the Japanese soldiers and the other Japanese officials that were in Korea. And so the comfort women tried to ask for reparations, and they couldn't because of what Park had signed. So this is why it became such an important issue. And it's not something that you can actually break. So it's still, it rubs salt in the wounds, I'd say. And that's the reason why.
Thank you.